Hello, welcome. Hello to all you people that get to watch this later and get to see this bit and haven't just tuned in live and missed it because you tuned in live. Welcome, special people. Talk to me, get a lolly. So if you tell me you saw the first bit, you can have a lolly on when you see me. So ask me. Welcome to Along. I'm Richard Moores, Children's Youth and Families Pastor for Southside Uniting Church. We meet on land that the Yagara and the Turrbal people have cared for a long time. And so we pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We pray for reconciliation between us and First Peoples, Second Peoples. Pray for reconciliation between humans and God. We pray for reconciliation around the world as we see different groups fighting. Remember that we come with the ministry of reconciliation, as Paul says. So welcome along. Good to see you. I'm Richard Morris, Children's and Families Pastor. I think I just said that, didn't I? It's going to be one of those nights. Now, you might be thinking, oh no, we finished the book last week. Started a new book. Isn't that wonderful? Woohoo! Excellent. So, I have a new book to do. I suddenly thought I was going to get my drink of water and my clock, which helps me to remember what time it is so that I can help certain people get off to Bible study on time. I always go over, don't I? Bad Richard. Anyway, I was thinking, I don't have a movie quote. What's my movie quote? And so here's a movie quote that popped into my head. May not be the most well-known part of this movie, but it definitely sticks in my brain. And I don't know why this has come out. But here we go. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale blue night? Pale midnight, I think it probably is. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale midnight? Or moonlight, pale moonlight. That'll be it. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? What movie does that come from? It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's not one of those big, well-known, everyone says this quote. But it does come from a movie. And I've seen the movie. So, if you know what it is, pop it in the comment section. You could win a prize. Yes. So, welcome along. I'm resisting saying a certain something. Great to have you all. So, for those that might just popped in because we suddenly got a couple more numbers, the movie quote is, and it's an obscure-ish one, but a well-known movie, probably an obscure quote. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Or, as the saying would be, I know why it was in my head. Anyway, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Not, it's looking more like Hannibal Lecter. It's not Hannibal Lecter. So if you know what it is, pop it in the comment section. I'm started a new book, yay! Engaging Generation Z by Tim McKnight. Raising the bar for youth ministry. So sort of talking about and is reflecting on where youth ministry is and where it has come from. And that sense of statistics show that we're holding less and less of our young people. Kylie's excited about something. Maybe it's because I've got a new book, is it? It's probably because I've got a new book. Because I'm actually reading all these books that I keep buying and feel my thing. Oh, you can only see part of my office. Many of you have seen my office at Yeronga and Tarragindi, and you look and you think, oh, look at the pile of stuff. I was watching one of my Doctor Who DVDs on Monday, and they had one of the special features was about Terrance Dicks, who's one of the quintessential Doctor Who writers, was script editor all through the John Pertwee years. So 4 years as script editor. He's written a number of other episodes or stories. He's written a number of books following on. He wrote many of the Target novelisations. So this great writer. And so they were having this tribute because he passed away sadly in 2019. And this person went to his home. This person had actually lived down the street from Terrance, but had always been too nervous to knock on his door. And so his wife, Rio, invited him to talk about it. And then she said, he's his office is up the front, top of the stairs, and I was never allowed in. She only got the key after he died. And so he's able to go up into his office, and his room is just crammed with books and videos, and there's hardly any place to go. And I thought, oh, it's my office. My office doesn't look anywhere near that bad. So there we go. That's right, I got into that because I had lots of books that I need to read. And I'm reading a new one, and Kylie's excited about the books. Excellent. Worked out how I got there. So, engaging Generation Z. That's right. So he's talking about looking back at youth ministry, that numbers are declining. He recognises that we've tried in the last decade to move faith formation into the family. While that may be a good move, it hasn't actually seen a whole heap of turnaround in those statistics. And so he's going to look at, well, what might we need to do now? He's not suggesting we throw away the faith formation in the family. So in case you're going, oh, we've just got on this bandwagon, now we have to get off. It's all right, I think. It's all right. Interestingly, he's coming from a more conservative theological position than I am, I'm pretty sure. But it's always good to read authors that come from a slightly different theological perspective than you. Keep you on your toes. But yes, so he wants to ask, what have we been doing and how can we actually raise the bar? How can we say to young people, yeah, we actually want you to meet this level? It's not just about, oh, we came and we had some fun and had some games, but there's actually a level. We want you to step up in your faith. We want you to be reaching higher. So how are we doing that? And so he obviously spends some time talking about Generation Z. Gen Z, and I think we did, I don't know if we did Gen Z. We did Builders, Boomers, I think we did Builders. We definitely did Boomers, Busters, or Gen X and Gen Y, or Millennials. Generation Z, born 1999 to 2015. So Ollie is a Z, or he's on the cusp. Again, you have cuspers who are sort of on the edge. I'm pretty sure he was 15. I'm going to get into trouble if he wasn't. No, he's 10 in 2 years, in next year. He's 9 this year, 10 this year. Next year, 22, 23. He was 2013. I'm so in trouble. So, these people, interestingly, some of the characteristics. So he points out some of the things that he's observed. They have no recollection of a time when our country, as in the US, was not at war. And it's that interesting thing. Yes, we've had this war on terror the whole time, that they have been alive. And interestingly reflected back to me, we grew up as Gen X. There was a time when there actually was no war. You know, sort of after Vietnam through to the Gulf War, there was sort of a period where, you know, things were going pretty well. And I remember, it must have been about year 12, or about to go to uni, maybe year 11, when the Gulf War, first Gulf War happened, and that sense of, oh, hang on, you know, back in Vietnam they had this conscription stuff. What if that sort of stuff returned? And suddenly thinking that had not occurred. So Gen Z had grown up. There's always been some sort of conflict going on. I mean, there always has been, but it's more obvious. They have no instantaneous access to almost any information they want. So, you know, you have a question at home. You don't have to hope that it's in the first part of the alphabet, in the first part of A, because you've probably had a free copy of Funk and Wagnall's A to, you know, AG or something that the door person had given you for free, hoping that you would buy the rest of the Funk and Wagnalls. And of course, no one ever did, but you had that first edition. Otherwise, you had to wait till you got to a library to go and look up something. Now it's just like, what's this? Oh, boom, there's my information. I know it. They consider 80s music as old. They don't understand why anyone would want to hang out at a mall. I don't know that's necessarily true. They cannot fathom a time where immediate access through face-to-face video interaction or texting was not possible. So, you know, you've always been able to contact someone anywhere. Why wouldn't you just contact someone? And we've talked before, it's interesting watching older TV shows and stuff like that where you think, well, why don't you pull out the mobile you didn't have? That's right. This is the one that really got me thinking. They will never have to listen through a cassette tape to get to the song they want to hear. And I reflect, we all remember that. Oh, I love that song, but you've got to listen to the whole, you've got to sit there and fast forward. No, back a bit. There we go. I can now listen to my song. Now, they probably don't even have a CD that you can pick the song track you want. They've probably got it on some sort of device where they just go, that's the song I want. Why would I listen to the rest of the album? That's all crud. I like that song. It's also that sense of, many of them don't actually watch television as we watch it as a family because we don't have any streaming devices, but most, they use some sort of streaming device or multiple streaming services. And so, there are no ads. You just pick and you can watch the next episode. And there's no waiting till necessarily till next week to see the next episode. There's no, we watch that one and then we watch this and we watch that. There's not even a sense of, I've got to record this. As growing up, it's like, well, we need to wait till tomorrow or till next week to see what's going to happen in this show. And very early days, we've got to remember that because we can't record it. We'll have to hope that they repeat that because that was really good. I like that. We'll hope they repeat that again. And so there's this instantaneous sense and this instantaneous, I can get information, I can watch TV, I can watch what I want, when I want, which makes their world quite different. Which means it's as we've said before, it's helpful when we do things like craft, where it's like, well, it's not instantaneous. It actually takes some time. So that got me thinking some things. They're not the main points that he makes, but yeah, that sense of that instantaneousness that our young people have, this is what's brought the dawn. This is why they're quite different to us. You don't have cassettes. You don't have TV as we know it. And if you talk to, you get to know stuff with kids, and it's like one of the questions naturally comes into my head, what's your favourite TV show? And lots of them, I watch TV. Yeah. Well, they watch Netflix or they watch YouTube stuff, and it's like, it's a different world. It is a different world. They're getting their information differently. That impacts who they are. The big points that he makes about Gen Z is that they are wired in. So they are connected to technology. He quotes Jean Twiggy, calling Gen Z iGen. Her research reveals iGen high school seniors spent just over 2 hours a day texting on their cell phones, about 2 hours a day on the internet, about an hour and a half a day on electronic gaming, and about half an hour on video chat in the most recent survey. That totals to 6 hours a day with new media, and that's just during their leisure time. 8th graders still in middle school were not far behind, spending an hour and a half a day each texting, browsing online and gaming, and about half an hour on video chat. A total of 5 hours a day with new media. So that sense of they are connecting through media constantly. I don't know how well that research does, but often they'll be doing multiple of those things at once. I'm gaming while I'm texting, while I'm... So this bombarding of information, this connection. The research also shows that the more time on social media and screen time, the more lonely they are likely to feel, because the less actual face-to-face, while it allows teens to interact with a greater variety of people, it's a lesser depth of interaction. And so, and other researchers have shown this, that we have this generation who are connected with people all around the world, but have no real deep connections and are longing for that. So yes, Gen Z are wired in. They're using all this technology. They're around the world, but they feel lonely. It's an opportunity for us. How do we build those relationships? They are post-Christian. So they are the first generation, really strongly, particularly in America, possibly Gen Y in Australia, got this, who are growing up post-Christendom. That sense of where Christendom, where Christianity was at the centre of society, sort of growing out of Constantine in about 326 makes Christianity an acceptable part of the religion. Within another century, Justinian, the Roman Emperor, has declared Christianity the religion of the empire. Some people will tell you it's Constantine. It's not. It's Justinian who first does that. And from that point, Christianity is sort of at the centre of Western society. And it's not until the last few decades that suddenly we've moved from there. And so we talk about we are post-Christendom. And so this is the first generation that is growing up where they are outside of Christianity, and that sense that not only are they not connected in, their parents probably don't know the stories. So Gen X, we still sort of had some connection to church and Sunday school and stuff. Gen Y, that really dropped off. So now, as sort of the tail end of Gen X and the early Gen Ys become the parents of Gen Z, or are the parents of Gen Z, then there is far less of them that actually have a basis of Christian stories. So Gen Z is really sort of the first generation to grow up post-Christianity. We are starting from pretty much all of them from square one. What do they know about God? Well, probably nothing. We start from down there. Which is not negative. Just means we need to know where we're starting from. We can't come in and go, oh, well, remember Daniel and... No. Daniel who? I was going to say Daniel Boone, but they wouldn't know Daniel Boone either. It's good. Daniel Boone was a man, you speak man. Anyway, number 3, he says, they struggle with their mental and emotional health. And so we see a rise in anxiety. We see a rise in depression. We see a rise in suicide. They are struggling far more with their mental health stuff. Whether this is connected some ways to their use of technology or not, who knows? Probably you'd have people arguing on both sides, and it's not my place to argue on either side. But yeah, just this awareness that Gen Z is struggling more in the mental health space. And obviously, as we come through a period of the last 2 years with COVID and stuff, it's really shook them around with their mental health stuff. So this is important for us to remember. They struggle with issues of identity. Particularly with social media. They see all these people who are having a wonderful life. Everything's going well for them, and they think, my life's rubbish. How can I be that anybody important? Look at my friends, they have had the perfect life. Of course, you only put up on social media the stuff that's good. Now I'm sitting there going, yep, bored again at home. There's a wonderful clip someone showed me on YouTube. Sort of the reality of social media. And, you got the person getting all dolled up and taking a photo of them having fun, and then you see them just sitting down on the couch watching TV by themselves. And all these, take a picture of the meal and they're eating by themselves and stuff. It's like, everyone sees I'm having fun, my life is rubbish. But this is the image that I give. And so our young people are growing up, I'm giving off this image, but this is who I really am. Well, who am I? Am I this person? Am I my Facebook? Am I my Instagram? Am I my Snapchat? Am I something completely different? And yes, before anyone complains, lots of them probably aren't even on Facebook. It's an old person's thing. And so there's that struggle of how do they find who they are? They're struggling to find who they are. Sort of reminded me of, and this is the challenge for the church, because we've been very good in the church of, we all put the mask on, we've all got it together. And, part of me went, oh, wow, have we influenced the social media stuff of, oh, well, you get to church, you put on the everything's good, I've got the mask. That's what they're doing. Oh. I'm back. Something just said I'm trying to reconnect, so hopefully that didn't disturb you too much. But yes, I wondered how much have we influenced that? Probably not at all, but there's those connections. We can understand that. I can get how young people are struggling with identity, because I struggle with my identity in the church. I struggle to be who I am because everyone else pretends to be something different, so I've got to pretend to be something different. Young people do that in all of their life. How can we help them? Number 5, they are diverse. So they noted that when the 2020 census is conducted, it is estimated that more than half of all US children will be part of a minority race or ethnic group. So, and we know that in Australia there's far more. One of our youth groupers was chatting on Sunday and saying, he said, I have no Australian friends. It's like, I'm not going to pull him up on that. That's fine. He's relatively new to the group. But it's that sense of he has no Anglo friends at school. He didn't see that as a negative thing. It didn't sound. But it helps us to be aware of we live in this multicultural world. There's all these different things around it. They are a diverse people, which has its great benefits. It can have drawbacks as well. Number 6, he says they're growing up too slow and too fast. So in some ways they're really slow and really cautious. Statistics show a lot of them getting their driver's license later. I wouldn't know anything about that. Which actually has an interesting impact. If you're not getting your driver's license till after high school, how do you go out on dates? How do you get around as much and go and visit friends? We have to rely on parents, or you don't do it and you do it virtually, and life becomes different. You're dating, mum and dad have to drive us there. Mum and dad are a little more involved in this than maybe they were for younger generations, who would drive themselves out and go, can we borrow the car, mum and dad? Cool. We're going to take our person we're dating out, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And there's some other areas where they're growing up slower. They have this desire for safety, to be safe physically and emotional. This desire for safety protects them from some harmful activity. They binge drink less, have less premarital sex, and have lower instances of fighting than previous generations. So this growing up, trying to be safe, has some benefits, but it impacts who they are. They're always trying to feel safe, and so you get this higher anxiety in Gen Zers. And so they'll also, because of that safety, or if someone comes with a different idea than them, and we like to be around people who have the same ideas. So that can cause angst. So they're growing up slower, but they're also growing up quicker. They're bombarded, particularly by sexual messages all around them. Research in white meet Generation Z says no other generation has had pornography so available in such extremes at such a young age. 70% of all 18 to 34-year-olds are regular viewers, and the average age to begin viewing is 11. And so they're bombarded by sex. Pornography is just easy. You can almost accidentally stumble into. I remember years ago coming back from Asian Youth Convention, and I've just jumped off again. Sorry about that. The communities have been named after famous world leaders, influencers, Christian type people, and one of them was Mother Teresa. And I got home and I was, for church, putting up a PowerPoint and Googled Mother Teresa, and I thought, she did not look like that. some of the pictures. So you can put something innocuous in and get pornographic material. So growing up slower, but growing up faster. Number 7.7, he points out the parents of Gen Z are both over-engaged and under-engaged in their parenting. Parents talk about the helicopter parent, always around the child, always trying to protect them, and they're even more. Gen Y really had the helicopter parent. Gen Z even more, this parent who will come in. If there's a problem, the parent's not like, he talks about if there was a problem with a mark on a test, it's not the parent goes, oh, well, you should talk to the teacher. It's like, I will go in and talk to the teacher for you, and I will find out why you didn't get this mark. So parents are, in that sense, over-engaged. They're in more. They might sometimes discourage their students from driving and volunteer to drive and afraid their student getting injured. Oh, I'll do it for you. I'll protect you. I'll look after you. But that parents, on the other hand, can also be under-engaged with, use your device whenever you want. I'm not going to check what you're looking at. Just do it. The number of devices in rooms after bedtime is just stunning. Did an online course recently with the Department of Child Safety or something, online safety, looking at young people and online safety, and just the statistics of the number of kids who go to bed and sleep with their device. And so they're looking at their device at night, not getting enough sleep because they're looking at their devices and stuff like that, and they're not monitored. And parents go, oh, well, you've got that freedom. I'll give you that freedom. That's all right. We need to engage more in that area and disengage in some other areas, possibly. I'm talking as a parent of a Gen Zer. Number 8, Gen Z is a generation of entrepreneurs. And so it talks about 72% of high school students want to start a business someday, compared to 64% of college students. So they're going, hey, I can start my own business. I can do this. I can make money. I can go and do it myself. There's this hope. Number 9, they are the largest generation in the nation's history. And so marketers will aim at them because here's this big group of people that they can try and attract. They are number 10, the last one, they are students. They want to learn. And Tim McKnight, who's writing this, is a college or uni professor, and he says he can see the difference from Gen Y to Gen Z and Gen Z. They are there to learn. They want to discover more. And so as we're lifting the bar, how are we going, hey, you want to learn? Let us help you to learn about this faith you're in. They don't want to just come and play games. They want to discover more about what it is we believe and what they believe. So, quick snapshot of Gen Z. Let me run over those 10 points again. You've been madly writing them down, haven't you? That's all right. They're wired in, so they're connected to technology in the world. They're post-Christian. They struggle with their mental and emotional health. They struggle with issue of identity. They are diverse. They are growing up too slow and too fast. The parents of Gen Z are both over-engaged and under-engaged in their parenting. Gen Z is a generation of entrepreneurs. They are the largest generation in American history, and they are students. So that's the group that we're looking at in our youth ministries, in our children's ministry at the moment. How do we take that on? We can see there's negatives there, but there's a whole heap of potential. How are we the place where they are making meaningful connections in this world where I'm connected with the world, but I feel lonely? How are we that place that helps that? How are we that place that helps with depression? How are we that place that provides them a place where they don't have to be anxious, where they can feel safe, but that we can push them in positive ways? How can we be a place that helps them to learn and to discover more? How can we be raising the bars for our young people? Some thoughts for us to think about. We'll see what else I learned from the book and what else you get to hear about from the book. But there's our first chapter. So hope that's interesting. Enjoy the rest of your evening. signing off.